something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
It's so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, and welcome in a very happy Friday to you. It is Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri, and are you ready for some playoff action here tonight as we got a couple of all-important Game 6s, elimination on the table here tonight for a couple of teams, one in the NBA, one in the NHL, and who, if we're being honest, doesn't love urgency, and we've got plenty of it here tonight, not to mention maybe a battle of National League pennant players here involved with the Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves going at it. That is one of a full slate of games on the diamond tonight that we're going to be keeping an eye on and, of course, breaking down for you, not to mention whether it be the Dodgers on the road in Atlanta, Yamamoto on the mound taking on Holmes tonight for the Braves, who finally seem to have figured some things out. And I still think the best is yet to come with the Atlanta Braves. But Yamamoto has been absolutely lights out. And so has Holmes, in fact, being kind of thrust into this, having to start 5 or 6 games for Atlanta while they hope to get some of that rotation a little healthier. He's done a pretty decent job of holding the fort down. But of course, we all know with Acuna and company on his way back, Atlanta, well, the best is still yet to come here. But this is a good litmus test, I think, here for the Braves tonight, as Yamamoto has been absolutely lights out. It's been all Dodger money all day long, opening up around minus 160. I'm seeing minus 170s now in the marketplace, and I would imagine it's going to continue to work that way towards the Dodgers. Also, we've got another pretty interesting matchup here tonight coming up in Major League Baseball with Arizona taking on Philadelphia. I think this is going to be another very interesting series, as Arizona just came back after losing the opening slate of games to the New York Mets, bounced back, won again yesterday, won the day before, still dealing with a ton of injuries in that bullpen. But you know what? They've been able to get the job done. Now they'll take on another National League East powerhouse and that being the Phillies here tonight. Kelly going up against Luzardo, and if it's the one thing Arizona's had trouble doing all year long, which is completely 180 from what they were a year ago, that is hitting left-handed pitching. They were top 3 last season. And for the most part, the same lineup with the Arizona Diamondbacks that we had a year ago. Last year, they absolutely crushed left-handed pitching. This year, not so much. And Luzardo has been absolutely lights out for the Phillies as well. That's why we're seeing this total hovering around 8, looks like even as high as 9, rather. But it hasn't gone much higher. I saw it dip below 9 a little bit earlier. Merrill Kelly going for Arizona. Wouldn't be shocked if we got a little bit of a pitcher's battle early on in that game, and that is coming up in about 10 minutes, the first pitch with Arizona and Philadelphia. We're still waiting, weather concerns here, rain delay with Pittsburgh and the Padres. Dylan Cease was on the mound for the Padres here tonight. That game is in a slight rain delay, as is Washington and Cincinnati. So we'll keep you posted here as the Major League Baseball slate gets underway, heading into a big weekend. But it's all about urgency, and that's what we've got first up in the NBA here tonight with the Houston Rockets trying to stave off elimination, going up against the old nemesis there, the Golden State Warriors. They handled their business last game. The Houston Rockets did. Do they have another win in them in order to get this thing to a 7th game? And maybe more importantly, get it back home. And it is no secret, of course, that the Houston Rockets have been a much different team at home than they have been on the road here. It has not been a great road trip here to Golden State, but this series outside of the last game there has been interesting. We've seen a couple of, we saw a blowout, obviously, the 131-116 win by Houston in order to be able to get it to this point, make it a 3-2 series. But other than that, I mean, with the last couple of games, at Golden State was what, 109, 106, 104-93, and that game was much closer than the final score indicated there, as the Houston Rockets up to that point had missed somewhere in the neighborhood of 35 free throws early on in this series, and many of those were in the second half. It's what you get with a young, inexperienced Rockets team. But did they find something in that Game 5 at home? I'll tell you what they found was Fred VanVleet's ability to be able to get it going and hit some threes. And my goodness, he is the one guy that's got to lead this team. He's the veteran presence on this team, and his last couple of games have been fantastic for the Houston Rockets. If he does that again here tonight, I think a lot of folks are going to look at the total in this game and go, wow, now I understand why it opened up at 204 and now 208s are on the board. There has been nothing but over money in this on this game here today. Again, opened up at that 204 mark. We've been hovering around the 207.5, 208 now all day long. That is the direction where the market thinks we're going to get some scoring here. And judging from how Houston made an effort to go up tempo last game and get some buckets in transition, would not shock me if that's the same thing we're going to get here in this one tonight. So get ready for that Game 6 here. All important. Is this the Golden State Warriors of old? Or is this just a new horizon here with maybe the new kids on the block and the Houston Rockets? Don't forget, they were the number 2 seed. This isn't a situation where Golden State is at the top of the... Golden State was a play-in team. They're the 7 seed here, and the Houston Rockets very much growing up in front of our eyes. But I think the key to this game here tonight for Houston, it's going to be all about Fred VanVleet leading this young crew into Golden State and getting it done. But Jimmy Buckets might have something to say about that. And then, of course, in the NHL, we got another series here. We got one last night with Colorado and Dallas. That's going to a 7th game. That will be tomorrow night. But how about it tonight with Winnipeg and St. Louis? Back in St. Louis, Connor Hellebuck has been the story here. He is a totally different goaltender at home than what he is on the road. In fact, on the road, it's not good. He's given up over 4 goals against on the road over the last 3 postseasons. At home, you can't get the puck past him. They're going to need him to be better than what he has been if Winnipeg is going to close out St. Louis. Otherwise, come Sunday, we're going to have ourselves another Game 7. You got to love the way this is all shaping up here. A huge weekend, including the Kentucky Derby coming your way. We'll have all sorts of things you need to know, and we have got you covered here as Game Time Decisions rolls on the grid.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. A very happy Friday as we're getting ready for a couple of Game 6s tonight, one in the NHL with Winnipeg and St. Louis. And then, of course, there is no place like home, at least in the NBA. That's what the Golden State Warriors are hoping for as they look to close out the upstart and young Houston Rockets as we welcome in our good friend, the coach, James Young, here looking at this matchup here tonight. And I was saying earlier, Coach, We're going to find out, I think, early in this game whether or not Houston figured something out. But I can tell you this: they're a different team when Fred VanVleet takes initiative and gets it going from outside in the perimeter. Is it me, Coach, or did they look like they went a little more up tempo too to get Golden State caught in transition? There's no wonder we're starting to see so much money come in on the over in this one tonight, but that doesn't mean that Golden State's going to win or Houston's going to win. How are you looking at this one here tonight?
I loved it at 207. I know it's 207.5. I think this game's going 210, 215. I think the way to Golden State is they want to play half-court basketball, but they can still score in transition. Houston is young. When you look at that roster, the only person of consequence that's over 28, 29 years old is Steven Adams. So to me, the pace is the key. Now, the only concern I have is we saw this a couple of years ago, up 3-2, up 3-2, Golden State, or up 3-1. Golden State went to a Game 5 in Memphis. And that was the famous whoop that trick game where they got absolutely steamrolled and Steve Kerr punted. What happened? Game 6, Chase Center, drive home safely. And if I'm not mistaken, that was a 2-7 game as well versus Memphis. So to me, I think the Golden State Warriors pull out and win tonight. But I will say that the best play I like is over 207.5. When you look at props, I'm looking at two guys specifically, and they're correlated to each other. Alperen Şengün over 14.5 rebounds plus assists. He's going to play big. He's going to play big minutes, and I think you're going to struggle to stop him. He goes to the pinch post where he can get some assists. So I like Alperen Şengün to go over 14.5 rebounds plus assists. So if I like him to go over, and you're not going to play Steven Adams with him, then you go Steven Adams under 7.5 rebounds. He's gone under 4 straight games. So if we're going to lean on Şengün, he doesn't have to get into foul trouble. He gets the rebounds plus the assists. Then you go the other way and you go under Steven Adams 7.5 boards.
Yeah, Şengün has been just absolute, kind of growing up in front of our eyes there, Coach, for this team. You got to love. I think the Houston Rockets are in good shape moving forward, no matter what happens tonight. Detroit, same situation. But we got another all-important Game 7 coming up tomorrow night, too, with the Denver Nuggets at home against, the L.A. Clippers, who, if we're being honest, this series should have been over a couple of games ago. But, I'd rather be lucky than good here, Coach. Advantage Denver in what is a pick'em game in your mind?
Advantage Denver because they're going to the Mile High. Advantage Denver because they have the best player, even though Kawhi's been outstanding. Advantage Clippers because they have the better coach. But the biggest question mark is, what are we getting out of James Harden? James Harden was really good in Game 6. Joe, you noticed and I noticed. He hasn't scored. I think the number is he hasn't scored more than 21 points in a decided 7th game. And his stats are awful in Game 7. See, what's good about the Clippers is he doesn't have to give you 30 to win. You got the claw for that. But if he can give you 18, 19 points, 6, 7 assists, 6, 7 rebounds, and effective shooting, then you go somewhere. But his track record doesn't say it. So I can't back it. So I'm going to go with the home team. Go with the Denver Nuggets on the money line to get the job done. And, it's a really good game. Last 2 games have gone over. So you can look at this game going over as well. Maybe a little bit more offense here. And then the guy to watch on the other side is Michael Porter Jr. They need him to really be effective. You saw Tyronn Lue. We talked about this a little bit earlier on the early line today, with Donnie. They went to Nicholas Batum. They went small. So what do we talk about, right? Get the ball in to Joker, dive Aaron Gordon, lift Porter Jr. out of the corner, try to get Michael Porter Jr. a couple of threes early. If he knocks out a couple of threes, he seems to go off. They seem to be better, and then then he starts to rebound and do the other stuff on the other end of the floor. because I think it happens, I like Denver on the money line to win Game 7 at home.
It's kind of tough to go against them at home. They've had a ton of Game 7s, it feels like, in the Joker's career. But let me ask you this, waiting in the wings, depending on what happens. I believe if Golden State wins this game tonight, closes out Houston, they are heading to Minnesota to take on the Timberwolves. How would you reseed this here, Coach, when you look at what's left here in the West with teams that'll beat? If the 2 seed is gone, the 7 seed Golden State's in there, what are we thinking here?
Well, I had said before the playoffs, I thought that the Minnesota Timberwolves were going to make the Western Conference Finals. I just looked at the draw they had, staying away from the Clippers, staying away from, obviously OKC, staying away from Denver. You could say that they stayed away from the 3 best teams in the Western Conference because the Lakers, I thought that Timberwolves were going to beat them. I was probably the only person crazy enough to just scream it out loud. But I think they would be the favorites here they should be the favorites versus the Warriors. I think the Warriors will get a little bit of an edge because of playoff Jimmy, Steph, Steve Kerr. That's why you'll see that. But I do like the Timberwolves to make it out of there and play there. And I will say this really quick. The winner of Denver to Clippers, I'm taking on the money line Game 1 because of the rust effect for Oklahoma City.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point, too. And listen, I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park for OKC, either of those 2 teams, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch it unfold. Coach, we appreciate the time as always, my man. Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers can be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Is so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mock 1 in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions. A very happy Friday to you. I'm Joe Raineri as we look to close out this hour together. We got much more still to come, including, well, a pretty big race tomorrow at Churchill Downs. The Kentucky Derby will take center stage. We'll start breaking that race down for you, plus an update from Churchill to you today when the ladies raced, in fact, and the Oaks proved to be, well, just a whole lot of fun for one particular favorite today. We'll have a whole rundown for you coming up on the Derby with David Aragona, our good friend from the Daily Racing Forum. He'll join us in just about 6 or 7 minutes here, and we'll get his thoughts on the race. And we also have a couple of first pitches getting ready to take center stage on tonight's card, including in the Bronx, as the New York Yankees sending out their ace, Max Fried, taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. And Pepio on the mound for them. Big money coming in on the Yankees, steamed all the way up to just about, 250. And it is starting to come back down a little bit as we're starting to see some Tampa Bay money. I mean, listen, Tampa is coming in after getting swept at home by the Kansas City Royals of our team. And Kansas City couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat. But you know who couldn't really hit anything? The Tampa Bay Rays in that series there. So the Yankees are getting some cold bats right now, but is that enough to lay this kind of number here with the Yanks at home? And historically, we know Tampa's kind of given them some fits over the last couple of seasons, but Pepio has not been great so far this year. The bullpen rested and ready to go, but the question is, can he keep the ball in the ballpark off these Yankees bats? That is going to be a big if, and that is what we're going to see. Wouldn't hate anybody looking to play the Yankees on the run line. I couldn't blame you if you wanted to do that. I still think Max Fried, the better pitcher here, maybe early for the Yankees in the first 5. And speaking of those Tampa Bay Rays, they've got a game coming up. I mean, the Royals, who swept the Rays, well, they got an interesting series coming up against Baltimore, who just took, 2 of 3 from the Yankees. Now they're home. They've got Kremer on the mound, taking on the Royals' Michael Wacha, who everybody hit between Wacha and Seth Lugo. Every outing, the amount of people looking to fade Lugo and Wacha is kind of head-scratching. And every week, what do? They come in there and they dominate, especially Michael Wacha, by the way, who I think has given up 1 home run the entire season so far. He's a guy that keeps the ball in the ballpark. He's a ground ball pitcher, and nobody's really been able to figure him or Lugo out. We already saw Lugo win the game the other night against Tampa Bay Rays. Michael Wacha here will have an opportunity at a pretty decent plus money price. Just because the Orioles beat the Yankees 2 out of 3 doesn't mean I'm running to the window to lay $150 with them in any way, shape, or form. I think that total is a little bit high too as well at 9.5. I'd be looking to take a stab at the under in that game. You've got coming up a little bit later, don't forget the Rockies. That's right, I said it. The Colorado Rockies are on a winning streak. 2 games in a row. Who'd have thunk it? Could they make it 3 tonight? Yeesh, boy, I got Giants and Robbie Ray. If you lose tonight to Colorado again, we got some issues in the Bay Area. I don't think it's going to happen, but my goodness, the Giants bats have gone absolutely ice cold, having a hard time pushing runs across, and so are the Texas Rangers, who welcome in the red-hot hitting Seattle Mariners here tonight, and a pretty good pitching matchup scheduled in that one, as well as Leiter is going for the Rangers. He's looked good in his limited action so far, but he doesn't hit, but neither do the Texas Rangers. So they're going to have to score some runs against Brian Wu, one of the better pitchers of Seattle. Will they get it done? Kind of a coin flip price here. So that game, I think, going to be very interesting, set the tempo for the rest of the weekend and that series. The Rangers need to get some runs on the board here, and they need to kick it up a notch, as they say. But we got much more Major League Baseball coming your way. Of course, tomorrow, the Kentucky Derby. Lot to discuss there as well. Another hour. Game Time Decisions coming your way next here on the Grid.
think that there's something to the fact that they blow all these leads against the Edmonton Oilers? It's like the Oilers could be down 4 goals and they come back like it's nothing.
We got a series now. I think this thing is going to reset, Scott. I think home ice advantage is going to hold true in this series. I think I told you that last week. I'm expecting this. I picked the Kings in 7 before the series started, and it's like plus 700.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
It's so crazy that you get both ends of that spectrum and the narrative trying to be correct in doing so and to make a statement for engagement. You're wrong, you've been wrong, and deal with the reality of the situation.
All of the people that analyze the draft mocked one in the first round, and even could he go to the Giants at number 3 or trade up back in that round. They got Gart, they didn't get Sanders, and the fall was on at that point.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to get a bunch of upsets. We're going to get a lot of craziness. Didn't happen as well. I mean, over the last calendar year, Sam, I don't ever recall 6 or 8 months of time in sports where the books lost, but here we are.
They estimate FanDuel and DraftKings lost $185 million combined for March Madness. So estimating not just that they didn't have a profitable March Madness, but it was a huge loss for them as well.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in, off and running another hour on this Friday of Game Time Decisions as we get you ready for a loaded slate in Major League Baseball. Game 6 in the NHL coming your way with the St. Louis Blues at home taking on the Winnipeg Jets. Can they get that to a 7th game? And, of course, a Game 6 tonight, elimination time for the Houston Rockets on the road taking on the Golden State Warriors. Can they get it back to Houston for a Game 7? We shall see. But let's not forget, tomorrow it's all about, well, the Kentucky Derby. You gotta love it. In fact, we had a couple of pretty big races today. Let's break some of this down here as our good friend David Aragona of the Daily Racing Forum jumps in with us, and we appreciate it, David. Let's start with the Oaks was today. The ladies ran, and yet not a shock that Good Cheer won this one here. I wanted to see what kind of conditions it was going to be because there is still some weather concerns for tomorrow as well.
Yeah, we actually got a big thunderstorm right before the Oaks was run. There was a slight weather delay, but they were able to get the race in. Didn't affect Good Cheer at all. I mean, she's a horse that handles any kind of conditions. She's undefeated, now 7 for 7 in her career. So she delivered as the favorite. We'll see if it's more chalk tomorrow in the Kentucky Derby with some more rain predicted.
Yeah, definitely keep an eye on the forecast. We woke up to news this morning, David, of course. Bob Baffert back for the first time in 3 years, but Rodriguez, one of his speed horses, in fact, that was entered into this race, was a late scratch. So we've got a new entry. What do we know about the first one off the bench here?
Yeah, I actually thought Rodriguez was the stronger of the two Baffert entries in this race, but he's only going to go with one of them now, Citizen Bull, who was a really good horse last year. This season, he hasn't quite been in the same form, and his prior race to the Kentucky Derby was pretty disappointing. But I think Baffert's just happy to be back at Churchill Downs.
Yeah, he certainly is. All right, well, so we got some interesting horses in this race. My question to you is, what are we anticipating the speed to be here? Are we a lot of speed on the rail coming out of the gate? Are we expecting this to be fast times? Is it all dependent on how muddy this track is? Who do you think it favors?
Yeah, well, a lot of the conversation coming into this week was that there was a lot of early speed in the race, and they were just going to be going guns blazing from the starting gate. One of those speed horses was Rodriguez, the horse that got withdrawn earlier this week. Citizen Bull, the other Baffert horse, does also want to go to the front end. There are a couple of other speeds like East Avenue. I think a lot of people predict him to potentially be the one leading the field early. So there should be enough speed in the race to set up some of those horses that like to come from behind, such as the morning line favorite Journalism, who is definitely the one to beat in this Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, he is. McCarthy with Journalism. It still feels like he's got to be part of the exactas. He's got to be in there, David. But who else are we looking to partner him up with? I know there's a lot of hype around. I believe we've never had a Japanese horse come and win the Derby, but there's an awful lot of folks that like this horse in this race.
Yeah, the number 7 Luxor Cafe. I'm not quite as bullish on him as I was with Forever Young last year. That's the horse that just missed in that 3-horse photo finish in the Kentucky Derby. Luxor Cafe, though, he's going to be a bigger price. He's 15-1 on the morning line. I've got him in my picks. As you can see, I mean, I've got some respect for Journalism. I picked him second in the race, but I want to use some long shots around him because I think once you get past the favorite, you can make cases for some bigger prices in this Kentucky Derby, and the Derby always offers opportunities like that to catch some prices.
I'm fascinated with Publisher too, the number 13 horse there. It's a great story with Asmussen, but anytime you got Irad Ortiz Jr. on a horse, I gotta take a second look. So, what did you think about Publisher and the chances here under the 13 spot?
Yeah, Publisher's an interesting horse in this race because he's the only horse in this field that has never won a race before. He is what we call in horse racing terms a maiden coming into the Kentucky Derby, but he's run second and third in enough major races that he kind of does belong here. He's one of those horses that wants to be coming from way off the pace.
Yeah, and another, we've never had I believe a horse from the 17 post win a Kentucky Derby, but there are some folks high on Sandman here with Jose Ortiz there and Mark Cass training. What are we thinking about Sandman at 6-1 early line?
Yeah, and he's getting bet down a little bit. I was seeing the early wagering today. I think he was down to 9-2, so 4.5-1. He's a popular horse. He's a striking gray horse, so I think he's a really popular horse with those that are at the track. He's another one that wants to come from way, way off the pace. So there are a lot of major contenders in this Kentucky Derby that are hoping that they really go quickly up front because they do want the race to fall apart.
The horse that actually is subbed in, what's it, Baeza there, it looks like, is it Flavian Pratt riding? What speed? Is this another speed horse? What are we looking at here with this one?
Yeah, Baeza's actually been battling the favorite Journalism out in California, and he's a horse that's going to be a little bit closer to the front end than some of those other contenders we've talked about. He doesn't want to be a front runner that's out in front of the pack early, but he should be maybe one of the first ones making the move if those horses out front start to get tired at the end, but we'll have to see if he can see out the distance and hold off those late runners at the end.
Yeah, the late run is really going to depend on how fast they're coming out of the gate here, but if this is a muddy track tomorrow, is there any horse or two we should be concentrating on, maybe hitting the board that we didn't think would be there because of the conditions?
It's really hard to know because so few of these horses have ever competed in the kinds of conditions that we're expecting to see tomorrow at Churchill Downs. They're saying that there could be up to an inch of rain through the morning and afternoon leading up to the Kentucky Derby. So it seems likely that there is going to be a wet track. The favorite Journalism never run on a wet track before, so maybe that creates a little bit of chaos to work some other horses in. But weather is always a major variable in races like this.
I saw you had Final Gambit on the list there, Brad Cox, as well. What do you like about this horse?
Yeah, I got a couple of 30-1 shots in there. Final Gambit's one of them. He's actually never run on a dirt course before. He's been running over a rubber synthetic course in a different track in Kentucky. But he seems like one that's really improving on the way into this race. And he's going to be a much bigger price than some of the other late runners like Sovereignty and Sandman. And the horse that I actually make my top pick in this race, he's also 30-1 on the line, Chunk of Gold. He's a horse that's only won one race before, but he's finished second in all of his preps. And I think he's run a little better than the results would even indicate in some of those races. And he's a real feel-good story. He was purchased at auction for just $2,500, where there are others in this race that were purchased before they ran for up to $1 million. So he doesn't have those credentials or the stellar pedigree, but he's definitely an overachiever.
Listen, those lightly, some of these lightly raced horses, the Kentucky Derby is what it's all about. I mean, when you got 20 horses in a race, it's all about what? The first quarter mile, what they do when they get around that first turn?
It's all about having some luck in the running. In horse racing, we call them trips, just working out the journey that allows your horse to be successful and navigating traffic, finding those holes when they open up. That's the key to navigating to victory in a 20-horse field.
Yeah, it should be fun. Let's fingers crossed that the weather holds out. Should be a excellent race as always. Plenty more happening at Churchill tomorrow. And David, we appreciate you taking the time, sharing those picks and the knowledge with us. We look forward to the Kentucky Derby tomorrow. We'll have more and Major League Baseball an update, in fact, when Game Time Decisions continues.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of 15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back in. Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network as we are getting ready for a big night here in both the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs and the NBA playoffs as Game 6s will be front and center tonight in the NHL. The Winnipeg Jets trying to win one on the road to close out the St. Louis Blues. This entire series has been about who's got home ice advantage here. I don't know that that changes tonight, but let's bring in our good friend, Mr. Scotty Wetzel, who is going to take over at the top of the hour for In-Game Live, who will have all the action on this game once the puck drops, Scotty. But I don't trust Hellebuck on the road. What have we seen from Winnipeg to leads us to believe, oh, he's just going to shut out St. Louis at home? It feels like we may have another Game 7 on our hands when it's all said and done.
Yeah, haven't had too many, right? Out of 16 NBA and NHL playoff first round series, I figured we have 4 or 5, but you got one so far in the NHL, one so far locked up in the NBA. I do think we're going to get a second one. I do like St. Louis in this series, Joe. There's always a caveat when it comes to gambling. No matter what stat or trend I can give you, there's always a but. But I will tell you, St. Louis has won 14 straight home games. So they don't lose at home, including games 3 and 4 in this series. So what could possibly be the but? Well, the last time they did lose was against Winnipeg back in mid-February. So it was the Jets that won, but so that's a long winning streak at home, 14 in a row, including 2 in this series. Desperation sets in. It's been a wacky series because I also love the under in this series. I played it like 3 or 4 times, and then finally I just gave up. It's 4-1 over. The over-under here is 5.5. You're going to get that. We've seen this hit regularly in play in the postseason, and then also with the empty netters. So give me St. Louis laying the buck 20. I think that's a really good number, and then I also like the over 5.5 in the game as well.
I found another one, Scotty. I thought of you when I came across this trend here in the NHL, especially when it comes to clinching games, game clinchers there. Play the pre-flop over 1.5 goals in the third period. Because you're right. 6 of the 8 have had empty netters in clinching games, including last night as well. So the chance of you getting at least 2 goals in the third is actually pretty good here in these clinching scenarios. Looking forward to that one. 8 o'clock, in fact, is when that game 6 is going to drop the puck.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Joe, FanDuel, and I'm sure the other site, they offer 2.5 goals or 1.5 goals over what you're getting at like plus 2.5 to 1 with like 3.5, 4 minutes left. And under normal circumstances, you never play that. It would be so goofy, right? But we've seen how many times already this postseason, 2 empty net games, goals, because teams down 2 or 3, they don't care. What's the difference? They lose by 4 or 5 versus trying to still win. So it's not a bad little play, like 3.5, 4 minutes left. Like I said, these sites are offering you, if it's we'll say a 3-2 game, right? They're going to offer you 5.5. So you're going to need 2 more. And man, I'll tell you, a lot of times you get it, and it's paying a decent price.
7 of the 8 closing games in the playoffs have had at least 2 goals scored in the third period. So it's absolutely very feasible there, Scotty, tonight. Also, the over is at a pretty good price as well in this. I would almost say the first period over as well, Scott. We've seen these 2 teams just absolutely light one another up early in these games.
Yeah, 4-1 over for the game. I don't have the breakdown as far as first periods are concerned. Overs in the postseason in hockey, 27-17. I mean, that is so crazy. Off the norm. I mean, right? How many times do you say postseason hockey, 2-1, 3-1 games, 3-2, but not this year, 27-17. And the combination of favorite and the over, which happens to be St. Louis tonight in the over, is hit 19 times by far, by not even close, by far the most out of all the combinations, favorite and over.
4 of the 5 games in this series, Scotty, we've had over 1.5 goals in the first period. So both these teams end up finding the net early and often there. But about in the NBA Game 6, Golden State getting ready to take on Houston here. I think this is a fascinating matchup, one that is seeing a ton of money to the over, Scotty. How you betting it?
Yeah, I think Golden State wins, Joe, but I'm not going to lay the 6, 5.5, 6, even 5. If it was down to 4, I might take a bite on Golden State, but that's a pretty big number. Desperation team. Like I said, I do think they win. So how are we going to attack it? How about the over point Steph Curry, 25.5? Hasn't had a great series. He's coming off 2 games, not 1, but 2, in which he's had less than 20 points, including last game, in which, Golden State really got their butts kicked. So I would be surprised home game, elimination game. He's due for a monster contest. 26 is not really, it's not a major number for Steph Curry. So we're going to go over 25 and a half points Steph Curry. We're going to go under Jalen Green. I played his over a couple times now. The dude averages 21 points in the regular season, and he has been invisible. He's had 11 points or less in all but one of these games. And that was a monster 30-plus point game. Well, the other games, completely invisible. I'm not expecting 16 even out of him on the road in the elimination game if he can't handle the pressure of the other games. And then how about this goofy one, Joe? How about 2+ steals for Draymond Green? Why that? Ooh. He's hit this in 4 of the 5 games, and if you go back to the regular season, he's 7-2 last 9 games, getting 2 steals or more. He doesn't get rebounds anymore. He doesn't really get assists anymore. He's just basically out there playing against the best offensive player. He's been golden for getting 2+ steals, and that's -120. It's basically pick 'em.
It looks like a lot of people looking to, if you like Golden State, it looks like everyone's also jumping all over Jimmy Buckets here. Did you look at, I think, 21.5 points here? I think you got to pick your poison. Who is it? Steph Curry or Jimmy Butler, right, Scott?
Right. And you got the Butler-Curry situation as far as the injury situation with Jimmy B. Yep. He's ailing a little bit. Which means if they're up 10-15, maybe they would take him out and be conservative, where I think Steph Curry, he's going to play the whole way. They're not going to take him out in an elimination game. So they might go a little conservative with Butler. That's why I sided more with Draymond. Or with Steph.
Like it. All right, don't go anywhere there, Scotty. When we come back, we'll run down your Major League Baseball card as Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Fans hate them. Like, kids go to Giant games and they're like, my father forces me to come, or my grandfather was a season ticket holder. Like, no one has fun. It's a miserable place to go.
The Giants' problem has always been, over the last several years, and it's been the reason why Barkley never really got off, is the offensive line.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
If you're going to trade Durant, right, it means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, do you get rid of Booker? Because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. Joe Raineri, we welcome back in our good friend Scotty Wetzel, who in just about 35 minutes we'll pass the baton to as in-game live coming your way. A lot going on here tonight, Scotty, especially Major League Baseball. We got some games already underway, and some good games still to come here tonight. And stop me if you've heard this. I believe Stanton is now been moved to the 60-day IL there, Scotty. I haven't seen him on the field or in uniform, but somehow in his rehab to try to get back on the field, he somehow hurt himself, and now he's on the 60 days. Kind of between him and Trout, who's less reliable?
I know, right? I looked up the Trout numbers, and the Yankees only have a couple of more years left with Stanton. The Angels have 5-6 more years if you want to count this year.
True.
6 more years, Joe, of $37 million, and then at least a couple more of 15 on top of that for the luxury tax bill. So it's like he's costing them $50 million. What a dopey contract, right? I mean, they survived the Pujols contract. That was idiotic, and then they went right back into the well, signing a Trout to this ridiculous 10, 12-year contract, whatever it was a few years ago. So, man, they're locked in. Both of those guys can't stay healthy. It's just running down to first base. It's not like he's crashing into a wall or something, right? I mean, he's just running down to first base. And he got hurt.
The wind blew. Yeah, talk about glass, Joe. My goodness here. All right, these late games here tonight. Let's start. Does Colorado rip off 3 straight wins, Scotty? They're taking on the Giants and Robbie Ray.
Yeah, they can't, right? I mean, they just can't. The numbers for them are just so bad. I tell you, I got hooked into the hockey and stuff, and the last I looked last night, San Fran was up 3-1, right? So I figured that's going to be a win. And then I saw the final score. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me, right?
Unreal.
So San Fran had beaten Colorado 10 straight at home, so now 10-1 their last 11. Colorado 6-25, worst record in baseball. They're the number 3 under team, believe it or not, 21-9-1 under. But they're only 2-14 on the road. You're right; they won 2 straight. Are they going to really win 3 in a row? I'll take my chances. I'll lay the run and a half. I looked it up. Out of those 10 wins, they're 10-1 against Colorado. 9 have come by 2 runs or more. In fact, the last 9 in that 10-1 stretch. So. If you don't want to lay the minus 290 or whatever it is, lay at least the run and a half, and chances are they win by 2 tonight.
Yeah, I'd be shocked here if Robbie Ray doesn't limit the damage here of that lineup for the Giants. What about Detroit? I mean, talk about sweat. I thought they had a really good chance of dominating the game yesterday early. I had them in the first 5 with Mize. And they were losing. Thank goodness for the 8th and 9th inning. I think they scored 8 runs late, Detroit, but they got Skubal on the mound. And this still feels light to me, Scotty, doesn't it, this price?
Yeah, 190. The Angels stink. And now they don't have Trout. Now they really are bad, right? They've lost 6 straight. They had a 9-5 start. Things were looking great. They're 5-13 since then, Joe. Detroit, meanwhile, believe it or not, has the best record in the American League, 20-12. 7-3 their last 10. Again, if you don't want to lay the minus 190, you put it in a parlay with San Francisco, maybe 2 late games, or lay the run and a half. But I think Detroit wins easily tonight again. Hopefully a little bit sooner this time.
I'm in agreement with you in this. Mariners have been absolutely destroying the ball. They've been crushing it, Scotty, but the Rangers can't hit. They can't hit water if they fell out of a boat. 8.5 felt a little high to me with Brian Wu and Leiter on the mound. What did you think?
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing, Joe. They have been a strong under team. In fact, they're the number 1 under team in all of baseball. 23-9 under. And are you ready? 15-2 under at home this year. 15-2. And they keep on giving 8.5s. Like, they're not even going down to 8 half the time. I know Leiter stinks, but Woo's pretty good. Seattle, you're right, has hit the snot out of the ball. I will say that. But, man, I'm not bucking 15-2 trends. Give me the under 8.5 Texas, Seattle.
You got a strikeout prop. Sonny Gray going to mow down the Mets here tonight, you thinking?
I'm going to go under, actually. Mets are one of the best non-strikeout teams. Let's go under Sonny Gray, 5.5, and then we'll go under Jonathan Cannon for the White Sox against Houston. Also a great non-strikeout team on the Astros.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm still waiting for Sonny to blow up here. Maybe the Mets will get it done. They have dominated this series, actually, so hopefully they'll be able to get it done. at a short price. Yep. Scotty, we'll see you top of the hour. Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Fans hate them. Like, kids go to Giant games and they're like, my father forces me to come, or my grandfather was a season ticket holder. Like, no one has fun. It's a miserable place to go.
The Giants' problem has always been over the last several years, and it's been the reason why Barkley never really got off, is the offensive line.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
If you're going to trade Durant, right, it means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, do you get rid of Booker? Because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the Sports Grid Network. I'm Joe Raineri. Let's welcome in Mr. Golf himself, Brady Cannon here, our good friend, doing nothing but doling out winners every week on these PGA Tour events, maybe even a little live event here. We'll dive into that as well, Brady. But, my goodness, you know, we're always worried when we get these kind of off the beaten path tournaments, and then we see a guy like Scotty Scheffler is in this tournament. We're like, oh boy. And yeah, well, look at the scoreboard right now, because the leaderboard tells you why. We're like, now I get why he was 2-1 there, Brady.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like about plus 280 was a great price, as it turns out. As Scotty Scheffler is now minus 1,000, literally minus 1,000 at FanDuel to win this golf tournament. And they're not going to finish round 2 today. They're going to have to bleed into Saturday morning. And one of the guys I was on, Rico Hoey, who, was not your first round leader. That was Scheffler. Caught him, of course. But Hoey got out to a great start, shot 63 on Thursday. He's yet to tee off here on Friday because it was about a 6-hour weather delay that they had here with lightning and thunderstorms and whatnot in the Dallas, Texas area. So Hoey and a handful of other guys are still not out of this yet, but it's close. Scotty Scheffler shoots 61 on Thursday. He's going to back it up with a 63 today. It's a par 5, his last hole that he's playing. He's already got a ball in the fairway, 225 yards or so into the hole for his second shot. And again, FanDuel has already adjusted this to minus 1,000 with 36 holes to play. That I've never seen that before. And we've been sitting here talking, Joe, you know, when is the real Scotty Scheffler going to show up? Well, apparently it was this week. And we talked about it on Wednesday. We always do our preview. And, you know, the shortest guy I was on was at 55-1. And we said, you know what? It's either going to be Scotty or it's going to be a long bomb. And it looks to be the former there is the right answer.
Yeah, it was so funny because we were hoping, all right, maybe he's just here working on some things. He's not really going to put
working on winning again is what he's doing.
Yeah. None of the leaders from yesterday have even teed off yet, and he's already minus 1,000, and we haven't finished the second round. Absolutely unreal, Brady. All right, so we know what's happening there. How about on the Live Tour? I believe they were in Korea for this. So what do we have any update as far as what's happening there?
Yeah, it's kind of cool. You've got golf at night on the East Coast.
Yep.
You've got the Live Circuit starting in less than 2.5 hours from now. Golf in prime time out here, certainly on the West Coast. I was watching it or at least keeping track on my phone last night, and some surprise names at the top, and then also some not so surprising names at the top. I stayed away from Bryson DeChambeau because the guy has let me down in the last two Live events. He's gone into the final round, right in your neck of the woods, Live Miami, playing at Doral, went into the final round with the lead, shot 75. We go to Live Mexico City last week, and I played Bryson again, goes into the final round once again with the lead, shoots even par, and guess who? Joaquin Niemann, who has literally won half of the events on the Live Tour this year, beats Bryson DeChambeau, and Niemann is at it again. He's not in the lead, but he's 3 shots back. Taylor Gooch, of all people, is back in the lead. And, of course, Bryson's back there as well. Of course, Carver and I were talking about this. The week I decide to back away from Bryson, of course, now he's going to win, right? But John Rahm got out to an awful start. He's even par. The one guy I've got in the mix is Dean Burmester, and he's at 4 under. Big hitter. He's done very well on Jack Nicklaus design golf courses in the past, so I've still got a real shot with him. And in the live market, I've seen him at 22-1. I got him pre-tournament at 31. Again, he's only 3 shots off the pace, and you can get him at 22. Bryson's about, plus 135 or so. He's kind of in Scotty territory, not quite in Scotty territory, but he is a big favorite to go on and win this. I would not want a piece of Bryson at this point. You might as well take Joaquin Niemann, who's about at his pre-tournament price. I mean, all the guy does is win. He's around 6-1. I mean, maybe an in-game play on Niemann and Burmester is a decent look with just 2 rounds to go on the Live Circuit in Korea.
I love that. I did also take a look, Scotty, at the PGA early markets here. A couple of weeks away, we got the Truist next week, which is a signature event, and then the next major, which will be the PGA Championship. I saw Rory and Scotty, shocker, as the favorite somewhere in that 5 to 6 market there, but after that, I mean, there is some value with some of these names on this board here. Outside of Scotty and Rory, was there anybody you think you're warming up to for the PGA?
Boy, Scotty might take over the role of odds-on favorite here after this performance. I mean, Rory is actually the shortest price now after what he did at the Masters, which is now his 3rd victory already of the season.
And
He's won at this golf course. Yeah, it is. He's won at this golf course 4 times before. He's going to come in here with so much hype, and he's not a guy I want to be on, Joe, because he just accomplished the biggest thing of his entire career. Do you think he's going to be completely ready to go after it again for the immediately following major championship? No, I'm not ready to go there. U.S. Open, British Open, okay, fine. But this major that is immediately following, again, he's going to have the biggest spotlight he'll have ever had in his entire career on him when he shows up at Quail Hollow. So I will not be on Rory. Probably won't be on Scotty either. The price is short, and obviously he's just beaten up on a weak field here this week. But I have made some bets. I do have some plays in pocket. You can find it up at my Twitter handle, Las Vegas Golfer, and the article I write for golf.com. Some early bets for the PGA. There's a strong correlation in my mind with Torrey Pines, Joe. I think Quail Hollow and Torrey Pines, the best skill set you can have in your arsenal is total driving, long and straight. And is there many people better in the world at hitting it long and straight than Ludwig Aubert? The guy is, and obviously McIlroy as well, who's won here 4 times. But Aubert, is that guy at a little nicer price, now in the neighborhood of 16-1. Maybe you can still find it 18-1. That's where I got him. And when he won at Torrey Pines in January, I said, bang, okay, this is, he won at this course, which means he can win at this course. I'll jump in on him. Got him at 18-1. Jason Day, who has won at Quail Hollow before. They, of course, play the Wells Fargo Championship there at Quail Hollow since 2003. Jason Day has won there before. He's won at Torrey Pines twice before. And oh, by the way, just finished 8th at the Masters. I know he's getting up there, and you sometimes forget about old Jay Day, but you will see that trend as well. Typically, the guys that have won the PGA Championship have come off of a top 10 finish at the Masters. Oberg finished 7th. Jason Day finished 8th. So those are two guys right out of the gate that I'm already on for the PGA. Day, a big price there. You can get him, I've seen as low as 60-1. I got him at 80-1, and I've still seen plenty of those 80-1s out there.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's time to start going. All right, we gotta talk about Xander because it's buy low now. I don't know if it's going to get much lower, especially if he's a top 5, top 10 guy this week. Real quick, baby, before we get you out of here, tomorrow Kentucky Derby. Give us a horse you're looking at.
Oh man, I you know what? I have not even dived in yet, Joe. I got to be honest with you. And I love the Derby.
You are
There's
in
not a
Vegas,
better day.
surrounded by nothing but degenerate horse
I got to
players.
go to our boy Marco D'Angelo. I got to research all the guys and see who the sharp money's on. I got to figure it out. But there is no better day on the sports calendar than the first Saturday in May. God love it, man.
Love it. Going to be absolutely fantastic. And of course, we'll have much more on it here on the SportsGrid Network. Brady, let's cash those tickets, my man. Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Fans hate them. Like, kids go to Giant games and they're like, my father forces me to come, or my grandfather was a season ticket holder. Like, no one has fun. It's a miserable place to go.
The Giants' problem has always been over the last several years, and it's been the reason why Barkley never really got off, is the offensive line.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
If you're going to trade Durant, right, it means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, do you get rid of Booker? Because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in. Game Time Decisions here on a Friday. It's the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri. Appreciate you stopping by as we've got much going on, not just tonight, but over the next 24 hours. The Kentucky Derby will take center stage, of course, tomorrow. Should be an awful lot of fun. It's always a great weekend when you've got the big races on top of your mind, not to mention some a game 7 or 2 that might be coming our way here. Let's bring in our good friend Dave Sharapan, who no doubt will find his way to a race book at some point in Vegas tomorrow. Just kind of moseying on, keeping his ear to the ground, hearing if you aren't already hearing it, Dave, the Derby, big happenings there in Vegas every year.
Good to see you, Joe. I was actually, I just had a little lunch meeting with a guy at a book close to the house.
Yeah.
Up in the northwest part of town. It was fun to watch the Oaks. It's a fun day for the horse players. And, the baseball, there's only one hockey game tonight. There's only one basketball game tonight. Baseball board is good. But yeah, it's Derby weekend. And yes, me and Wetzel have this unbelievable system planned for in-game live on how to get to the winner of the Derby. So I just went over it with them in a pre-show meeting. I can't wait to see the graphics. There's a bunch of different ways, system, eliminate. You remember the movie with Richard Dreyfuss, Let It Ride, where basically he was crossing names off the list? This apparently is what we're going to do. So we'll get to the guy or the horse that we're going to have at the end by eliminating all of the other ones.
Was it a couple of years ago? You had was it Rich Strike? Was it you, Dave, if I remember correct? Oh my goodness.
Baby.
Another bomb. My 80-1?
Biggest hit of my life. Rich Strike trifecta at the Derby with an 80-1 on top. Couldn't believe it. Was watching the race live. When I saw him break for home, I was like, I think we actually have the try here. Couldn't tell the wife. I said, let's go to the car. She said, what do you mean?
Yes.
We were at the softball game. I said, we got to go to the car. Why? You got to take me. You got to take me to the Fe. You got to take me to the Santa Fe right now. I think we hit the try. She didn't believe me the whole drive. And, we got the final post positions and we got it. It was a big score. Nothing like that since. I don't know if I can come up with that again tomorrow. It feels chalky.
No.
Joe, it feels really chalky tomorrow. I know. That's the I want a bomber.
We had the chalk already in the Oaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the Oaks. It was chalky, and that's you hope not. There'll always be decent prices because of the handle on a day like the Breeders' Cup of Kentucky Derby, but it would be great to get one of those bombs again up at the top. Anything is possible with 20 horses in the field for sure there, Dave. But anything is possible if you get to a game 7. I thought we might have more than the one that we had in the NHL, right? I mean, listen, Dallas and Colorado, I think we'd all agree that, flip a coin, good luck here. But that's going to a game 7. What about tonight? I don't trust Winnipeg on the road. Do you?
No, I like St. Louis. I think the game is an under. I like St. Louis. We're going to find out a lot about Winnipeg. We found out a lot about Toronto yesterday. They went on the road and won that game. That was impressive. But I saw your Twitter, Joe Raineri, and I saw you at the hockey game. The Florida Panthers made a statement in their last game. And there was a lot of people that had Tampa advancing. Hold the phone. Florida is the odds-on favorite again. They're back. Did you see that series price? Did you see this, Joe? Even though you're a rat and you like to throw those rats when you go to the game, Joe, this is ridiculous. This is too high. No.
Listen, I'm kind of I thought it was a little strange that the NHL would give the Panthers a bye in this second round like that. That's kind of crazy, but I'll take it. Right? You'll take it. It's nice the way that The way that happens and works out there. So I can't believe it. The champs get a bye in week 2. In series 2. That's absolutely crazy.
How about all these series prices? This isn't the only one where the road team is the favorite.
Yep.
I mean, you go Carolina against the Capitals. Capitals were number 1 seed in the East. They're the dog.
You trust
and then go
Carolina?
to the West.
I don't trust
either.
Carolina.
I don't either. I think Capitals got something going. They're playing for Ovi. They're getting the goaltending they need. Logan Thompson was a Knight. Speaking of the Knights have home ice.
That's a coin flip. That's a coin flip.
They're a dog.
Yeah.
They're a dog. Now, I understand it. Listen, Edmonton did not the impossible, but they won 4 games in a row. So that was super impressive. The game tomorrow night's going to be fantastic. I mean, it is a complete coin flip. The Avs and the Stars. I didn't think the Stars would make it this far.
Nope.
The other night, I mean, a couple bounces made the Avalanche win. I think the Avalanche will win the series now. I do. But not enough to bet it. I don't love it.
It's tough. I mean, it's still a coin. In Game 7, we all know it's anybody's. Anything, a luck of the bounce and a ricochet, anything is possible in a Game 7. But that's why we love it in the Stanley Cup playoffs there. Are you betting for a 3-game winning streak for Colorado tonight? I'm trying to find anybody backing the Rockies to win 3 straight now, including 2 over the Giants late night. Are you not buying it?
Can't do it with Zenzatella. Can't do it. Yeah, I just can't do it. No.
Can't either.
Ray,
I can't
Giants
either.
and over, maybe. But no. Giants team total over. You can go that route.
Ooh.
No, you cannot convince me to take the Rockies. No. How about the Rangers?
Winning's contagious. Oh,
Rangers
they can't
in Seattle?
hit either. They can't hit either. That feels like an under as well there, Dave. But that's all right. Good news is we're going to see you top of the hour here. You can cover it.
New to social casinos? You're in for a treat. Most online casinos offer bonus cash or coins just for signing up. That's your own little participation trophy. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
Rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Fans hate them. Like, kids go to Giant games and they're like, my father forces me to come, or my grandfather was a season ticket holder. Like, no one has fun. It's a miserable place to go.
The Giants' problem has always been over the last several years, and it's been the reason why Barkley never really got off, is the offensive line.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
If you're going to trade Durant, right, it means things are getting weird anyway. Teams are going to, before they go for Durant, they're going to go for Devin Booker. That's just the reality of it.
You get rid of Durant, or do you do the crazy one? Because you're so far out of the West, you get rid of Booker, because D-Book will bring you far more in a return.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on the SportsGrid Network. I'm Joe Raineri as we get ready to wrap up this Friday edition together. Don't worry, we've got much more coming your way. In fact, in-game live, just about 6 minutes away from kicking off with Dave Sherapan, Scotty Wetzel. They will have all of the action for you guys so you never miss a bet or a beat. And Dave, let me ask you this here. A couple other games getting ready to go. Actually, some games that I think have a little juice. You talked about Seattle and Texas. Feels like an absolute under as far as I'm concerned. But what about this Milwaukee and Cubs game, too, getting ready to go? That, to me, feels like an over. I don't trust either starting pitcher, but the Cubs are going to put runs up, no?
No question. I was going to say Cubs and over for me. But they changed the pitcher. It was against Priester. So Priester's not going. But I don't know. The Cubs are hitting. I just saw them play Pittsburgh in the midweek series. They did a job on Skeens even. I like Cubs and I like over. The Mets and the Cardinals. I mean, I don't want to make our guy mad, upset, but I mean, you're supposed to play the Mets in that spot. I think the game under though. I think the game under.
Yes.
And then the other one I wanted to ask you about was, how about the the Detroit Tigers? I mean, things look easy sometimes. Like Scooble, less than $2. I'm good. Like that's fine. I don't mind laying that. I think they win again.
Yep. I don't get I didn't understand the price last night. And it looked like it smelt for a reason when they were losing heading into the 8th inning until they scored 8 runs against the bullpen in the 8th and 9th. But it feels the same thing. It feels like the market thinks there's regression coming to Detroit. Maybe not Scooble, but the hitters. How can you trust the Angels, Dave, with no Trout? Not like he was, what was he hitting, $180? So I'm with you. I think that stinks. Yeah, there is nothing good about that.
The last one I wanted to ask you before I go was a bettor's dream. Only a bettor could be interested in this game. The A's and the Marlins. Did you see that?
Yes.
That number? I said, oh my goodness.
Yes.
The A's are 11-4 since April 15th. That's the second best record in baseball. It was only minus 130 before the game against Miami.
Correct.
So we're up early in that one. We'll be rooting that one home.
3-0.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Let's
they
go.
brought up. Be good, Dave. We'll see you here in a couple of minutes for in-game live. Oakland actually brought up one of their number one prospects, this kid Gunnar Hoagland, to pitch in the game here tonight. And I don't know where the A's keep getting his talent from. I have no idea, but the kid. Lot of really impressive numbers coming out of AAA so far this year, and it's the Marlins who, let's face it, I'm pretty sure even Dave Sherapan could strike out, which he's doing a pretty good job of here tonight, this kid Gunnar. So 3-0 in that game already. Arizona and Philadelphia in a tight one here, 1-1, bit of a pitcher's battle there between Merrill Kelly and Luzardo. 1-1 top of the 5th. We got no score just underway now in Pittsburgh. Dylan Cease on a mound for the Padres, taking on the Pirates, who just can't seem to get anything going their way. Top of the 4th, by the way, no score. Dodgers and Braves turning out to be, I told you this game, Holmes has done a great job for Atlanta as one of those 5th starters they had to insert, a middle reliever that, until Strider is 100% back, they've got to kind of patchwork what's going on at the back end of that rotation. Doing a pretty good job shutting out the Dodgers right now. They're in the 4th inning there. No score with the Yankees and the Tampa Bay Rays in the 4th. Fried and Pepio there. Kansas City and Baltimore, no score in the 5th inning. So we've got a lot of games where not a lot of offense just yet, but the bullpens got to get involved yet in a few of these games. But get ready. We got Game 6 in the NHL coming up. We got Game 6 in the NBA coming up. I took for a best bet here tonight. I think there are points coming in this Houston Golden State game. I got Houston's team total at 100.5 points. I think Houston absolutely can score over 100 points in this game here tonight. Dave Sharapan, Scotty Wetzel, in-game live coming up next. We'll see you Monday on Game Time Decisions.